The NFL is a haven for some of the largest athletes in all of sport. But who are some of the bulkiest athletes to ever grace the game? In this video, we'll be looking at the biggest NFL athletes of all time. Number 8. Terrell Brown. Weighing in at 403 pounds, Terrell Brown was considered to be one of the biggest players in the NFL when he was scouted by the Rams in 2013. Adding to his weight, Terrell also sizes up at a massive 6 feet and 10 inches, making him one of the largest players the league has ever seen. When he was still playing college ball, Terrell weighed around 380 pounds, but gained even more weight when he joined the Rams training camp. In college, Brown had made a name for himself as a defensive end, but Rams offensive line coach Paul Bordeaux had other plans for the big guy. In an interview, he told reporters that he felt his best position was right tackle, so Brown was converted into an offensive lineman. However, his size does come with some drawbacks. Many believe that his bulky figure can work as a disadvantage, as he can't come up and down the line of scrimmage consistently. His career was plagued with injuries as well, which can be attributed to his size. Now at 31, Brown is an undrafted free agent and might not ever play again. Number 7. Albert Haynesworth. Albert Haynesworth was drafted in 2002 by the Tennessee Titans straight out of college. The Titan was 6'6" and weighed over 350 pounds when he entered the league. He had a more than decent spell early on in his career as he was named in the Pro Bowl and All-Pro first team in 2007 and 2008. But his reputation had taken a massive hit in 2008 when he stomped on Andre Giroud's head. Even though he did come out and apologize, he knew that his actions could not be taken back. If only he'd realized that later on in his career. In 2009, he signed a mega $100 million deal with the Washington Redskins, but he was never the same again. After retiring, Albert had a couple of run-ins with the law, including a variety of charges like speeding, sexual assault, and road rage. Over the next couple of years, Albert would go through a number of near-death experiences as his kidneys began giving up on him. He's still looking for a donor. Number 6. William Perry. William Perry, also known as the Fridge, weighed close to 350 pounds by the time he was drafted in the 1985 draft by the Chicago Bears. Unlike many other players of his size, Perry was pretty damn good at football. By week 11 in his rookie year, the Bears had won 10 games on the spin, with Perry being an integral part of the team's success. He went on to win the Super Bowl in the same year, scoring a touchdown in that title-winning game and ensuring his legendary status with the Bears. His Super Bowl ring is still the largest ever made for an NFL player. After his NFL career, Perry found employment with the WWE and even made an appearance in WrestleMania 2. Not a bad career for someone nicknamed the Refrigerator. Number 5. Michael Jasper. When he was still playing college ball as a defensive tackle, Michael weighed around 448 pounds. As staggering as it was, he was told by an NFL coach that if he ever wanted to make it in the big league, he'd have to drop some serious weight. Jasper got to work, and before he was drafted in the 7th round of the 2011 NFL Draft, he dropped about 70 pounds. If he stayed at his initial weight, he might have smashed all weight records in the NFL. But instead, Jasper talked a lot about what it took to drop that weight. He had to follow a strict routine, eliminating beef and junk from his diet. It was an inspiring story, and who knows how Jasper's career might have turned out if there wasn't a lockdown in the 2011 season. Instead, Jasper's career took a nosedive, and he never achieved anything huge with any of his teams. He's now back in college football as a coach for the Bethel Wildcats. Number 4. Trent Brown. Trent Brown is the biggest guy in the NFL playing right now, weighing in at 380 pounds. He was selected in the 7th round of the 2015 draft by the San Francisco 49ers. At 6 foot 8 inches, Brown was a threat offensively, as he could use his hands well, and that made the Patriots make a move for him in 2018. With Brown, the Patriots went on to win the Super Bowl, and Brown was traded the following season and got a massive $66 million contract with the Las Vegas Raiders, making him one of the best-paid offensive linebacks in the league. Brown is currently out injured, but he's only 27 years old, and it looks like there is still plenty of fuel left in his tank. Number 3. Nate Newton. Nate Newton signed with the Dallas Cowboys in 1986, where he started as a reserve offensive lineman. He weighed over 400 pounds and was nicknamed the Kitchen because he was larger than William Perry. Even though Nate was a big guy, he had a lot of talent and was starting for the Cowboys at left guard in 1987. But he continued to struggle with his weight. His big break finally came when Jimmy Johnson took over as head coach in 1989. Jimmy switched him to right tackle and made him get in better shape. In a few years, he was part of one of the best offensive lines the NFL has ever seen. For all his dominance alongside players like Kevin Gogan, John Cesick, and Eric Williams, the offensive line was known as the Great Wall of Dallas. He even won 3 Super Bowls during that decade and is still one of the all-time greats in the NFL. Not a bad career for someone who started his career weighing over 400 pounds. Number 2. Daniel McCullers. Daniel McCullers has struggled with his weight throughout his entire life. He was over 400 pounds when he was still in high school. At the time, he was dominating kids who were much smaller than him. But by the time he participated in the NFL Scouting Combine, he had lost over 60 pounds. Many people believed that he would be one of the biggest prospects coming into the 2014 draft, and he was selected in the 6th round by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He would sign a 4-year initial contract, but didn't play too often until his contract had expired. By then, the Steelers had to decide on whether to keep him or not. They ended up resigning him on a 2-year contract, and Daniel is still working on getting in shape. His coaches want him to drop weight so he can move around faster, and for Daniel personally, it's been a hell of a ride. Many of his teammates are supportive of him, which is nice to see. Even the club showing faith in Daniel is quite heartwarming in a time when clubs would want to chop and change and get better players. But it's been a constant battle for Daniel, who's been trying to stay in shape ever since he was in high school. Now at 28, Daniel might be entering the twilight years of his career. And even though he might not have accomplished much in the NFL, he's come a long way in his own personal journey. Let's hope he continues to work hard and stay in shape. Number 1. Aaron Gibson. Aaron Gibson had an incredibly difficult childhood. Moving around through different shelters, Aaron eventually found his place at the University of Wisconsin, where he clocked in at 6 foot 6 inches and a whopping 420 pounds. He was undoubtedly an incredible talent and was a first-round draft pick in 1999 by the Detroit Lions. But all that talent and a first-round draft pick don't necessarily translate into success. He just could never really find his feet with the Lions and was traded to the Cowboys in 2001, where a bad knee injury plagued his time there. His next club would be the Chicago Bears, where he finally did enjoy a consistent spell at right tackle, but his weight was still way too high for him to be constantly performing at the highest level. He was cut, and by 2010 he stopped playing altogether. It was a dark period in Gibson's life that followed after. He was gaining weight rapidly and living on fast food for many years. His weight had skyrocketed to 480 pounds, and he was taking prescription pills worth $1,400 each month just to get rid of the pain. By 2013, he found himself in Green Oak Psychiatric Hospital with slit wrists. He contemplated suicide for a couple of months, but his life drastically changed after he met a sports massage therapist and his future wife, Bridget. Now, Aaron has drastically turned his life around, and his weight has dropped to 290 pounds, and he managed to cut out all the different kinds of meds he was taking. Aaron's life story is a real inspiration to many people all around the world. If you liked that video, just make sure to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one.